Hey, I'm Rutledge,
Hey, I'm Connor.
and we're Friend Stream Sports. We're real friends who talk about real sports in real time. And Connor, I really want to say Suns in four. That's how I want to start tonight's conversation.
The sun's out and the fun is out, Rutledge. That is so true. What a great night. What a great series for the Suns as they set on the Nuggets and definitely saw. We're going to talk about Joker later, but he did not have one of his highlights in Game 4 for sure.
No, but tonight I think to sort of follow up on the playoffs, uh, we need to definitely play a good matchup. What are you feeling for tonight?
I kind of want to be the Houston Rockets.
I kind of want to be the Boston Celtics, or do I want to be? What team is Kyrie on in this game? That's what I really want to do.
I believe Kyrie might be, I don't know, he might not even be in this game because I didn't see him on Brooklyn. I didn't see him on Boston.
Now,
But uh, we have seen Kyrie on the training table. Very unfortunate with him going down, don't you think?
it really is. I actually want to break down. I did a poll on my Facebook today for all of our viewers out there. Connor and I put out polls at least once a week, and I want to share those results as we get into the NBA. I am going to be, if you're going to be the Rockets, I'm going to be the Hawks.
The Hawkets.
The Hawkets. We're just playing 2K at this point. It's no story, no anything. But we're going to go to Houston, where every athlete tried to leave this year, and at least James Harden succeeded. JJ Watt succeeded. Speaking
Which
of
is a real
leaving,
shame because Houston's a fun city. A lot of
it
good food.
Houston's a big area. You don't ever think about it, but that's the new kind of one of those spots in America that I call the swell, where the population just kind of hits it and swells. It's
Oh,
crazy
yeah.
to see it happening in Houston. Well, Connor,
For sure.
let's leave the United States in our conversation first and talk about the beautiful game and get started with some soccer talk. The Euro tournament's going on. There
That it
are
is.
groups A through F. It's going to be a little wild out there, but what sort of point scorage and stuff have you seen that you can share with all of our listeners?
Yeah, so as we work through, and we just finished the first round of games today. Remember, it's one of those soccer tournaments. So the group stage, you play sort of a round robin type tournament. In Group A, Italy is leading the way with 3 points. Very, they started us off with a big win. Very excited for the Italians, followed by Wales, Switzerland, and Turkey in last place. In Group B, you've got Belgium leading the way with 3 points based off of goal differential because Finland also won their game versus Denmark, which definitely want to keep Christian Eriksen in our thoughts and prayers. Make sure we're obviously wishing for a very speedy recovery as there's a real scary sight in Copenhagen for that match. Group C, Austria is leading the way versus followed by Netherlands. Netherlands had a real doozy of a match, a 3-2 victory in their opening round match. So not what you would have expected out of a pretty strong Dutch side for sure. Followed by Group D, which has Czech Republic with 3 points, England with 3 points, Czech Republic leading on goal differential, Croatia with zero, and Scotland not just fourth place with 0 points, but also fourth place in terms of being the first of many not top 10 plays, which we can discuss here momentarily as we continue our rundown here. Group E, Slovakia has 3 points. Spain has 1 point as they drew with Sweden. Poland has 0 points. And then Group F, which finished their first round matches today. Portugal leading the way with their 3-0 win over Hungary, followed by France with a 1-0 win over Germany. So a lot to discuss, a lot to break down, but wanted to at least give a little breakdown of how the first round of matches ended up.
Did any games surprise you in the first round?
I think that in the first round, I was hoping for more of a firecracker kind of game from Croatia and England. The follow up from the World Cup semifinal, Croatia getting second place in the semifinal. Croatia still has a ton of good players. They've just kind of notoriously not been great at the Euros. It was a lot of fun to watch North Macedonia score their first goal, although they ended up losing to a pretty strong Austrian side. I think as of now, we are still pretty kind of in what we would have expected. Rutledge, the one thing to be aware of in this tournament is there are a lot of tournaments that have in your group stage play, you just have the top two teams advance out of the four, but this, due to how they run the knockout stage, four groups will have three teams advance. So it's really, really important. I think you could definitely see a lot more draws in the Euros just because you're fighting. In a lot of ways, a draw is a win. You could be, if you're a Hungary, right? I guess Hungary, they have a very tall task to be able to make it out. But a team like a Sweden, a team like a Ukraine, or that could definitely be a third place team. They could really be fighting for a draw at some point and be really happy with that.
I mean, aren't all teams hungry for a win?
When I was in fourth grade, Rutledge, I made a bomb joke about being hungry for some greasy turkey because we were talking about countries in that region. I guess, not in the United States. It was not as appreciated for the fine art of a joke that it was.
That's a pretty good joke. You did not laugh at my joke, as my team calls the timeout for me.
But no, definitely really excited about the Euros, and as things continue, I'm definitely watching Group F. That is for sure a really important group. I think Belgium has a lot of really good players. I think that, and I said this before a couple weeks ago when it was just me, do not sleep on the Italians. Do not sleep on the Italians. Rutledge, who is your sleeper and who are your favorites?
I think a good, not sleeper, but someone I want to see do well and I think can do well is England. I think some fan favorites are, of course, going to be France and Portugal, but that's that Group F. My favorite group is Group F. I just think they're going to go. That's going to be the group you're going to watch. I wish they weren't in the same group together, but every tournament does have its group of death. I am not surprised to see Ukraine with 0 points, and Belgium I'm gonna call as a sleeper because they're always kind of in the mix. You ever notice it, like in the international side, they're never the fan favorite. They're never someone that you count as a washout loss team, but they're kind of in there. So
Yeah,
I'm gonna call out Belgium a little bit and see what they can do.
and this is sort of the end of their quote golden generation. That's one of the things in soccer on the national team level. You'll see folks say this is a golden generation. There's a lot of folks in America that will say this is the American golden generation with Pulisic and McKinney and Tyler Adams and Gio Reyna. So this is kind of the end of that era for the Belgians. They still have Eden Hazard, although it seemed like he was not super interested in playing for Real Madrid. Maybe he's interested in playing for Belgium. But you know who is very interested in playing for their country, Rutledge, that scored one of the most beautiful free kicks I've seen in a long time. That's Argentina there in the Copa America. Have you been getting to watch any of that at all?
I have been following it, and I will tell you, before we just break down the sports, there was a whole lot of political backlash to where some people didn't even want to play. Messi thought about opting out. Um, Everything got settled, but Copa America is a little different this year as they're not allowing teams outside of the South Africa region, where before
You
they
mean
may have
South
done
America.
that. South America.
Ding.
Dang, that's Religious first mispronunciation of the night. Connor's soundbite. But as that goes, the South America team. So I'm excited to see they're playing. I think it's great for the athletes to kind of get together and for some countries, COVID is still a very large deal, while here, at least where I am in the United States, we're very much starting to normalize very fast. So it was good to see at least that people are still taking COVID serious. It settled out, all the right people handled it, but it was huge.
No doubt. Just like that big time three pointer for sure.
It was a solid
There
three.
are there are a few American or MLS players in the Copa America. Shout out to Joseph Martinez for Venezuela. Shout out to Orlando City's Pedro Galese, El Pulpo, representing Peru. And, man, I'm just getting excited for Gold Cup. I know that's not the largest tournament there in terms of popularity, but I want to see how our boys in the red, white, and blue are going to be able to do in the Gold Cup.
Really want to see what they can bring to the table. You know, it's all kind of all eyes on them right now. I think this, like you said, we're in kind of a golden age, but what can that team produce? Because I really think they kind of remind me of the 2010. They're a little better than I think the 2010 World Cup team, but that team had so much hype around it, so I want to see what this one can do.